Okay, so we're talking about how to choose a realtor. Now, I can tell you how most people choose a realtor, and I can tell you the story with most realtors, and I'm going to tell you how you should be doing. And it's very different than what most people do. What most people do is they call their friend or they have a friend who's a realtor, and they say, "Hey, I heard you're a realtor. Can you please sell my property?" And what inevitably happens is that someone who really does not know what they're doing will come and put a contract in front of you, tell you that they're charging you 6%, and that you should sign up for a year. And someone who now someone who really doesn't know what they're doing, because most realtors, and I'm talking about well over 90% of realtors, are not full time and close less than two houses a year. Someone who and that really doesn't qualify you to know anything. Most realtors. So now you're in a situation where someone who doesn't know what they're doing is now in control of your property for a year. A year. So the question is, what should you do? So the real things to do here is not call your friends and say, who'd you use? Because most realtors don't do anything. They just take your property, have you sign some papers, and then put it up on multiple listing services and hope that someone comes to buy it. Maybe they'll run some open houses, maybe they'll do some showings. It really depends on what the market is going to give them. So the truth is what you should do. What you really should do is see who is going to give you a good deal and who's active in the area, right? Someone who really does a lot of business. And that doesn't mean just because you saw two signs. I remember when we started, back in 2013, we were doing a lot of deals at Elmont, and we saw three signs for the same person, and we said, wow, she must be busy. And then we used her, and she wasn't good. And she wasn't that busy either. She just happened to have three listings at that point. So a couple of things. First of all, everything's negotiable on the contract. And you want to use someone who has the ability to give you a better deal. They should be charging you less than 6%. They should be charging you less than 5%. 4% is fair, but we don't charge 4%. And they should give you a short term contract, like give you 90 days. Right? They'll say, oh no. And anytime somebody says, oh, my office won't allow me to take a listing for less than X% or X amount of days, that should be code word for you to say goodbye. Right? I'm not dealing with somebody who doesn't have the ability to negotiate. So I'm not selling us as realtors, but we do a lot of business, and I can tell you that we're cheap and we're quick. Now, what that means is two things. First of all, you're going to get a better deal because you're going to pay less. Second of all, if you don't like us in 90 days, you can use somebody else. And anybody you sign up with, I think you should try with for 90 days. And if you think they're really working hard and they tell you, oh, we didn't get offers but because blah, 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 and this is the situation, maybe you should drop the price, that kind of thing, then you can extend. So I don't think you should be locked into anybody for more than 90 days initially until you get a feeling for what kind of person they are or how much business they do. Second thing is how active they are, and ask them what they do other than listing it on MLS. And if they start giving you the canned garbage, like, oh, we listed on 1,000 websites, that's bull crap. Because all those websites just pull from MLS, right? Ask them, do you spend money on Facebook ads? If you don't like your pictures, do you spend money on a professional photographer, right? Again, I'm not here to sell us, but those are things that we do. So you need to deal with someone who does business, and you need to deal with someone who has the ability to give you a better deal. Because I'm not saying there isn't value in having a realtor. I believe there is. For a lot of people, for sale by owner is usually a mistake. But there is no reason to pay top dollar for it. There really isn't. And everything should be negotiable. And if it's not, you're talking to the wrong person. So those are the things you should be doing. And if you need help or you want to ask me, I can look up in 5 minutes and see how much business anybody did in any area, and I can tell you what the story is. So if you need help, the number is below. Do not listen to any realtor who says, my office won't allow me to give you X% below X% or below X days. That is somebody you should run away from, or be polite and say thank you and never use them. Anybody you're talking to should have the ability to take a shorter listing and a cheaper listing. And then again, ask them what they do over and above just listing it on MLS, right? And showing it to prospective buyers, right? Do they do any marketing at their own expense? Those are the questions to ask. And like I said, there's a handful of really active, full-time, good realtors. A handful. If you need help, we know a lot of them in a lot of areas, but I can tell you it's a handful. 1%, 2%. Most realtors are not doing this full time. And when you call them, it's like they won the lottery because they're just going to pray that they find a buyer for you. If you have any questions, call the number below. We're here to help. Even if you don't use us as a realtor, even if you're already using another realtor, even if you are not doing anything with us, we're happy to help you and guide you in any way if you want to sell a house on Long Island. Thanks.